But like you said, I think as soon as you get one guy signed up, which I did that last night. I was able to close this guy, and if I can do that, two more times and use the first guy to help leverage the other guys. Anyway, I think just like you said, it should be a domino effect. So
It's awesome. And then the other cool part about it is that now you got that presentation done. And this is going to be the next step I want to work with you on, is now taking this and kind of going through this process I'm going with everybody who's on this webinar right now. And let's take it online. Let's make it automated. And then you can start driving people through that all the time. And
totally.
it's pretty exciting. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you on because I thought your story was unique, and you're selling a super high expensive ticket product. You got in front of 50 people, half of them raised their hand, and from there, if you get 3 people, like you said, it's 120 grand. And if you get more, it's awesome. And now you've got this tool, the sales tool that you can use forever in your business and your life. So it's pretty awesome, man. Very cool. Cool. Well, thanks again for jumping on real quick. And so I hope you guys, because again, all you guys who are on this are selling different things. Some are products, some are services, some are cheap, some are super expensive. And this process, the script that we're kind of going through, it literally work for anyone. So anyway, thanks, Brandon, so much for jumping on. I appreciate it.
No problem. See you guys later.
Yeah. All right. Does that get any of you guys excited a little bit? I hope. Very cool. So Brandon's stuff's exciting. And what's most exciting for me is what Brandon will have made if he only gets his 3 people to sign up from this will be more than double what he makes in a typical year with his full-time job. And that's really the power of this stuff, you guys. Like, right when I first kind of started learning about this whole expert world, I remember I was thinking, someone explained it to me like this. They said, look at a high school teacher, right? And they may go and they've got expertise in their teaching, and they go and they teach these classes, or you think even a college professor, right? And maybe they're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and that's what they're paid. And they said, look, but if you learn how to take this knowledge and take this expertise and package it the right way, and then put it out there, you could literally sell it and make $50,000 a month or $50,000 a day, which when I first got started, I didn't think that was possible. We've had multiple days where we've sold over $100,000 worth of stuff that I wasn't there fulfilling on. I'd created the stuff years earlier, and people just coming, logging in and watching the stuff that they had we had created earlier. And so that's really the power of this, is it gives you leverage where you're not just tied to, again, like right now he gets paid really, really well at his normal job, but he's trading time for hours, right? And now he's created this system and gone and sold it. Now he can get paid really, really well. So Brandon was the first one I want to share with you guys. And the next one is Liz. And Liz, you guys are going to love. I'm actually going to call her live here on Skype here in a second, and bring her on and have her tell her story. And actually, I'm going to call her right now because I'm going to preface it with her on here. So let me open up Skype real quick and give her a call. All right, I'm bringing her on. And hopefully this will all work.
Hey.
Hey, Liz, how's it going?
Awesome.
Well, welcome to the webinar. You're live with everyone.
Thank you. Hey, how's everyone doing? I'm guessing good.
Oh, I hope they're doing awesome. So cool. So I'm excited to have you here for a whole bunch of reasons. One is you're one of my favorite people to talk to, and number 2 is because I think your story is really unique, but I think it's something that's very achievable for people, and that's why I'm excited to be able to share it. So let's step back to our very first call. Do you remember when that was?
That was around, when was it? Like April, I think.
April, okay. So it was April.
May, late May, sorry.
Towards the end of
Late
May. All right, cool. So we got on the call, and basically you're like, I need to make money, and I want to make it fast, and what's the fastest way, right?
Uh-huh.
And so talk about kind of, I'd love for you to share kind of like, I guess first off kind of what I told you, but then like where did you go? Where did that journey kind of take you?
Oh, wow. Well, up and down and up and down. So I'm going to be honest, right? Should I just be honest with everyone?
Please do. I love to.
Cool. So here's how it happened. I watched like Russell's like entry videos, and he was talking about, fastest path to this, and like it's webinar, and he talked to me about this whole webinar process, and I was like, cool. Well, if Russell can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly what I was thinking, right? And I had it up on my board, $50,000 by of July, and I was like, sweet, I want that. And I remember saying to Russell, I will do whatever it takes to get there. Just tell me exactly what to do. And I remember thinking in my mind, I was like, okay, well, sweet. A month from now, the money is just going to be floating from the skies. It's going to be beautiful. It didn't pan out exactly like that. I had a lot of family things go on. My partner's mum, there's lots of health stuff. There was a lack of a house. There was lack of internet. There was lack of a lot of things. So
definitely not like the perfect situation was not there when this was all happening.
there was no perfect situation. For everyone listening, I think Russell has probably heard me blubber more than any guy in the world over Voxer. Just because there were lots of different things that could have held me up along the way. And Russell's been absolutely amazing at going, right, Liz, this is what's next, and this is what's next, and this is what's next. So I remember getting off the first webinar going, sweet, I'm going to make 50K, and I'm going to do what it takes. Now, it hasn't, there's been life has gotten in the way. But, it's been a step-by-step process. And I remember getting off, and Russell sent me through his, what was it, the perfect webinar template?
Yep.
Yeah, so he did a webinar and I followed that piece by piece by piece. I even zoomed in. He uses this Starbucks as an example, and I was like, right. I even zoomed in and I got his exact picture. I was like, if it works for Russell, it's going to work for me. And I put that in my presentation. And yeah, so it's been a bit of an emotional ride. If I'm really, really honest, but that's because in my mind, I just wanted it at any cost. And then what's happened in the last, oh my goodness, the last 5 weeks, it's all of those pieces that Russell's helped me work towards, all of those different pieces have just gone funk together, and it's flying now. And seriously, I wake up every day at the moment and my phone goes ding, there's another sale. Really?
So awesome. It's the best feeling in the world, right? Every time.
Yeah, it's really quite fun, to be honest.
That's cool. So 5 weeks ago, it kind of all the pieces came together, and I want to say something because I think it's important. And I think you probably heard me share this story before, but my senior year in college, I had a creativity class, and at the end of the year, we had to show something creative we had done. And so everyone's kind of showing their creative whatever. And so for me, I had launched a business that year. So I kind of showed the process I went through launching this website and how it was making I don't know, 20 grand a month or whatever it was. And I kind of showed that whole process. And afterwards, my professor is this little tiny Indian guy named Dr. Murley. He starts jumping around all excited. And he's like, do you guys see what he just did? This is crazy. And he asked the class, does anyone have any questions for Russell? And I remember all the kids are sitting back in their chairs. And one kid just raises his hand. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that sounds awesome, but man, that seems like a lot of work. I was like, okay, first off, yes, it's a lot of work initially, right? You're pushing a rock up a mountain, but as soon as you get over the tipping point, then it's not, is it that much work right now?
Oh my goodness, that is exactly, that's my exact experience. Getting the modules done and working out, what's next, and that piece of putting all the pieces together. But now that it's together, it's just getting on a webinar and making sales and following up with people. And as we've worked out, the money's certainly in the follow-up too. So, it's so streamlined now. It was a lot of work. And I will say that with my hand on my heart saying it was work. But oh my goodness, it's worth it. So in the last month, we've turned over 35,000 US.
Cool.
So I'm playing with the US New Zealand exchange rate. So that's kind of cool right now. So that's 43,000 New Zealand dollars. So that's cool. But then on the flip side, we're looking to really ramp it up now. So we've actually chosen to use the first month to really tweak and change and really see exactly if the course that I've created, if there are any holes, and I've found 2 holes and I've plugged them with another video in each of those holes. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what do you think over the next, what's your goal for the next 30 days?
Next 30 days is to add 100 new full paid members into the course.
And I know you hate talking dollar figures, but it's fun for everyone here. How much is a full paid member cost? What are they paying?
A full paid member is $997 US.
Very cool. So that'd be a pretty good month. when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah, be a pretty good one. The cool thing, the cool thing too here is like, yeah, like the money is cool. The money changes, it changes stuff. But you know, seeing people like in my Facebook group, like we've got a private Facebook group too, which I've added you into as well. And the feedback there, it's mind blowing. Like I'm running around the house like a kid at the moment. Every time somebody gets their new logo, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool.
It's so awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I remember with my story that kid. I remember thinking this. I remember thinking that like the amount of work that went in initially, it was so much, but like but over the next like 40 years of my life, how much freedom that gave me, where he was still going to be having to go to the same job every day for 40 or 50 years. And so I just love it. And I think that's what makes entrepreneurs different, is the fact that we're willing to put in a bunch of effort up front and then stop and have this huge payoff later.
Definitely. And the other thing too is that like once you've done the process once, and you know this, like once you've done the process once, I'm like, it's easy now. It really is easy now. And my mind is going, there is so many, because I'm passionate about so many things, right? So, and as long as you're passionate, you can sell. And like, there's so many options just with this one, like webinar, like just running webinars, and with the system that you're talking about, it's just so easy now. And the very cool thing for me too was that my business prior to doing this webinar route was, as you know, it was very, like I was the bottleneck in the business. So I could make sales till the cows come home, but they all required like copious amounts of my time. So the webinar side of things, it's beautiful because it teaches people to do it's just beautiful, right? So I have this business, but then I'm teaching people how to do this business, which is perfect.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I love it. It gets me excited every time anyway, it's super fun. So I guess to kind of end with, for those guys who are going through this process, like what would you tell them? Because you've in the last few months, you've gone through the beginning, the middle, the end. You've seen the highs, the lows. Like what would be your advice or your feedback for them?
Stick it out. Like seriously stick it out. I promise to you that it'll take you not just on a technical ride, like you'll need to learn a couple of skills. You'll just need to change your mindset a little bit and go, like if you're a bit of a technophobe, just change your attitude and go, this is easy, right? And like you know, if Russell can do it, we all saw, like we were looking at Russell's wrong screen, for goodness sake. The guy's a multi-millionaire. If Russell can do it, you can too. So the thing is, really stick at it, and like the moment that things get too hard, believe me, I wanted to give up. I swear. I remember arriving at one webinar and literally zero people turned up, and I thought it was going to be like this big webinar, and not one person signed up. And I looked at that, and I actually shot a video that day on my iPhone and of myself, because I wanted to remember that moment. And it was like no one showed up, and I had these big blobby tears streaming down my face. And basically, it's like you've got to get through those, and you got to like you'll find certain parts of yourself that you'll never know. Like you'll find this courage, and it'll just come out, and boom, there you go.
That's awesome. Well, I'm proud of you. I think it's been amazing what you've done in such a short period of time, and you're the perfect model for what everyone else should be aspiring to and trying out. And it's awesome.
Yeah, well, look, seriously, I couldn't have done it without you, and I really do thank you so very much, because the impact that you've had on my life, and now the impact that I'm now having on other people's lives, is that beautiful ripple effect. So thank you so very, very, very much.
Yeah, no worries. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you. I'm going to jump back into the presentation now, but I hope that gives everybody excitement. You guys all should try to become like Liz. She's amazing. So awesome.
See you guys.
All right, thanks. All right. So did that get you guys fired up? I hope. If that didn't get you fired up, you probably shouldn't be on this webinar. You can just hang up now and be done. So here's fired up. If you're fired up, go to the question box and let me know for sure. All right, cool. You guys are fired up. That is a good sign. All right. So that's the game plan, you guys. That's what I want to, the process I want to take you guys is that. And honestly, with Liz, she ran into so many hurdles that most of you guys will not deal with. Because she's in New Zealand, she couldn't use any of the merchant accounts we typically use. She had to go offshore and find merchant accounts. She had so many issues. she had, like she said, life, family tragedies and life things, all these things. Yet in a month and a half, 2 months, she had the whole thing live. And I think with you guys, if you follow the system the kind of the way I'm going to show you guys, I think for most of you guys, you can get done a lot faster. And hopefully we'll, after doing this with her and with a bunch of people, we've hopefully kind of shaved off a lot of the learning curve and gotten it easier and easier. But let me come back to this picture because I think it's important. This one right here. Like she said, that what took her the longest was like creating her system, creating the webinar. And that's what took her a month and a half or so to get it all done amongst all this stuff. And then now it's done, she focuses on here on the promotion stuff. And what's cool is that she basically, if you look at her life right now, every Thursday she does a webinar. So from from Friday till the next Thursday, she's got some people who are driving traffic on Facebook, getting people to register for the webinar. And she wakes up that morning, comes on the webinar, delivers the webinar that she's mastered, and boom, sales start coming in. Boom, 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 boom. She sends follow-up emails to those people who didn't buy yet, converts some of those, and then she's done. And then she sits back and she waits till the entire next week comes through. They're driving traffic, getting people to register for the webinar. She shows up, delivers her presentation, and boom, sales keep coming in. And that's really kind of the end goal with this, you guys. In fact, it could even go a step further. Because for me, and one thing I'm going to show you guys through this whole process is I don't typically like doing the same webinar over and over and over again. It's hard for me. I get tired giving the same presentation. Some of you guys, that won't be a problem. I've got friends who sell timeshares who give the same presentation 3 times a day for 10, 15 years of their life, and they just crush it, and they're fine with that. But for me, I get bored. And so what I'm going to show you guys how to do as well is how to take that presentation, and after you've mastered it and you've gotten the pitch perfect, then you can record that, you can automate it, and then moving forward, that webinar can basically go and just sell people for you, and you don't have to even be there. And that's where we're going to be going with Liz next. After she keeps mastering and getting the pitch and everything just perfect, we'll record a version, we'll automate it, and then she doesn't even have to show up on Thursdays to give the webinar, which is the best part. She just has to she just has to keep driving traffic and have people do that for her, and everything else good will come. So it's pretty awesome. So that is the game plan. All right. Someone said, how fast can we get this up and running if we're good at most of this stuff, but just have big mental barriers? So, honestly, guys, I've had ideas where I had an idea, and then within 12 hours we would do a webinar and we would sell the thing. And so a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, we're going to talk right now a little bit about like creating your system and things like that. If you really want to speed it up, you can create your system after you've sold it. But for a lot of you guys, you want to create it ahead of time because you'll feel more comfortable doing that. So there you go. All right, let's jump back in to here. All right, so first thing I want to start off was why the expert business, because I want to make sure you guys are sold on this, because I honestly think that it is, of all the businesses out there, it's the best. And it stands as a business just in and of itself, all by itself. Excuse me. But the other cool thing is that it doesn't just have to be by itself. If you are selling anything else, by adding this expert component to it, and you wrap your other existing business with this expertise, you can start making a lot of money. For example, Brandon Fisher that I showed you guys earlier, he's a video guy who does video editing. He was able to wrap that video, that his what he does, in information, and boom, go from charging people whatever an hour he was charging to $40,000 to do the same thing. So this information and positioning yourself as an expert will change how much you can charge for things. I mean, literally right now, you guys, we sell right now like 1 hour consults with me for anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. Okay, and it's crazy. Like, doctors don't make that much money, but when you position yourself correctly through this expert process I'm going to be teaching you guys, you can literally just change, like, double, triple, quadruple your prices for anything you want to do if you're doing consulting and things like that. Okay, if you have a software company, I'm sure you guys some examples. This is a guy named Neil Patel. He's got a couple software companies, but he uses his expertise, the expert stuff I'm going to be showing you, to be fuel to drive people into his software companies. Okay, a good example, we just launched our first software company called ClickFunnels, and we use .com secrets in my expert business to drive fuel and drive people into that software company. So if you've got a software company, you add this expert piece, boom, you can sell more. If you have a supplement company, which we also have a supplement company, you take your supplement company and wrap it in an expert, and instantly you'll see sales just dramatically drive up. This is the picture here of Dave Asprey, and he's got a huge supplement line, and him being an expert and doing the expert stuff I'm going to be sharing with you guys has taken this company where he literally I don't think he drives any traffic in and of himself. He just uses his expertise and uses his personality and his story, and it drives millions and millions of dollars of sales in through his entire supplements. Okay, all right. So a couple things I want to talk about here. Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is I honestly believe that every single person in this entire world is born with some kind of superpower, and most people aren't ever taught that, or they don't believe that, and it's unfortunate. I think that everyone's got one, and most times when we do consults with people who are beginners, that's what we try to do, is try to dig that, like, what is that thing that comes second nature to you. You look at